Okay, we're live on 14 out of 14. I'm starting the show off with a nice yawn. Hey, four-name girl, how's it going? James, hello. Nugs, hello. How's it going, guys? Let's refresh the chat. It says 0 people are watching. Okay. Hey, what's up, everybody? Hello. You guys ready for a show? You guys ready for a show today? No show. Nick, hey, buddy. Hey, Token Dave, what's up, buddy? Hurry up and roll it up, buddy. Come on, waiting on you. Show. It's fun, isn't it? It's fun to say show. Show. Oh, I forgot to make coffee cafefe. I think I'll stop the show and start over again. I should have cafefe for the show. Shouldn't I have cafefe for the show? Empty cup, man. What do you guys think? Cafefe or no cafefe? Yeah? Oh, you're making cafefe? Okay, I'm going to do it. Hey, this is good news. For the first time, Mom, for the first time, the CMA Festival in Nashville, the Country Music Association, will ban all Confederate flags and symbols from their 4-day event. Good. They're banning Confederate flags from the Country Music Awards.
It's about time.
Yeah, it's about time. Freaking racist bastards.
You are something else, Ben. Tell us how you do it.
You're a real character. So, they murdered somebody. I just take them alive. Justice tickets go to the locals to the piece of Oh, and your father never did that.
What?
Nothing. We're just having fun. I got my kafefe. What are you guys up to? You guys want to smoke and hang out and stuff? Show. I got my mom to say show. Okay. It's brewing. We're good. Is everybody good? We're good here. We're good. Oh, you guys didn't like what I said about the Confederate flag at the CMAs? Well, fuck you, you fucking racist cunts. Fuck you. All right? Fuck you and fuck your racism. All right? I want some kafefe. My mom says I'm crazy.
What am I supposed to do with this building and take this all remote? What am I
Token Dave says fire in the hole. I appreciate and I compound that sentiment. Cheers. There's just a little bit left in there from earlier. Just a little. I just wanted to clear that up before I really started smoking. You know, really getting into it. Bye. Thank you so much. Good job today. And what she had to deal with today, man. Me too. She had to deal with me being scared about my father having a seizure. She did really good. She kept her cool, man. Was super professional. You know, she knew she couldn't do it by herself. She wanted me there to help her. She's like, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I was like, absolutely. And we handled it. And that was during the live show. That happened during the live show. Well, that he ended up on the floor. The seizure, I believe, was before the show. Now, are we really going to smoke the Nay way? Oh, yeah, after I pack a bowl, yeah. Happy Friday. Friday to all. And to all, a good toke. Josh G selling Santa Claus. Happy Friday to all, and to all a good toke. You sound like Tiny Tim. God blesses everybody. Oh, I'm sorry, Tiny Tim. Did I forget everybody? Ooh. Mm-hmm. Built me a new dam today. Got a nice splash. Over there. Took everything down, then I rebuilt it. Because I'm crazy like that. Sounds professional. Tiny Tim and the giant bong. Hey, speaking of giant bongs, We got the salt water. We got the So Kelly train wreck. Let's go to the salt water. That's what we're gonna do. Salt water. Okay, man. Here we go. You guys ready for the first nice actual bong rip of the show now? Show. You guys ready? Got some storms of brewing. I'm chilling on the patio with fresh brew and fresh bud. Got some storms brewing. Yeah, we do too. My friend Mark is here with a crew and they're working. Hey Marina, how are you? We've got a crew here working on replacing some of the woodwork outside, and they were calling for massive rain between 5 and 9 p.m. tonight, and there was just a sprinkle. It's supposed to bring down like a half an inch of water in like an hour. I'm like, okay, I'm waiting for it. I mean, it starts really quick here. It's not like California, it builds up over hours and then it's like this just very light drizzle. Florida's just like it opens up and it starts pouring, man. It's totally different. It's like a different country. California is like a different country the way it rains there. At least in the mountains. You're taking some dabs? Ooh, I'd like to be taking some dabs with you. Just saying. So I'll settle for a bong rip right now, though, Marina. Cheers, guys. Let's make this nice and great. This bong rip. And I want to say hello to each and every one of you, and I'm so happy to see all of you guys here. Thank you for tuning into the show tonight. I hope that I can bring you the content that you desire, that makes you laugh and have a good time. Cheers. Oh yeah. Saltwater OG. Potency. Right, Dave? Woo! So David Hogg said, I don't like David Hogg. David Hogg said on Twitter, he's like, I woke up this morning to a tweet that said, David, could you tell me how I could turn in my AR-15? And then underneath, he put like 2 spaces, then he says, this time is different. Really? Why? Why exactly is this time different? Exactly why? Oh, that's right, it's not different at all. It's not different one bit. In fact, it's worse because the Democrats have even less power right now. Ask my mom, she'll tell you. They can't get anything passed right now because of those freaking Republicans. So why is this time different, David Hogg? I'm just kind of curious. Why is this time different? This time is different. So dramatic. Arms sent to Ukraine will end up in criminal hands, says Interpol chief. Great. So let's just send all those weapons over there. Arms will flood hidden economy when the war ends. Yup. Great.
Florida threatens to fine Special Olympics.
Fine?
Fine them.
For what?
I don't know. There's a asshole DeSantis.
Florida threatens to fine the Special Olympics? What the hell did they do, man? What? Iceman, yo Iceman, what's up, buddy? How's it going, bro? I'm glad you're here. This is the Attorney General of Florida. I'm listening to it. It's crazy. He works for DeSantis. DeSantis put him in there, and he is anti your children's lives, basically.
Oh, good hell. Here's the paper, Ben.
Oh, okay.
Do you want it?
Yes, please. Oh, okay. Thank you. No, that's not what he means. That's not what he means. It's David Hogg. Nick, it's David Hogg. You got to understand who David Hogg is. That's not what he means. What he means is this time after this killing, it really matters that people are going to do it. That's all he means. He's being dramatic. Is that mommy? Yeah, it is. Hate those little fuckers that are always bolstered up by the moronic public, like Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg. I forgot all about her, man. I forgot what her name was. Hilarious. She's just vanished, hasn't she? David Hogg and whoever the hell else wins the hearts of suckers. Oh, yeah, I know. You know who Hogg is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's saying this time is different because, he's being overly dramatic and acting like they're actually going to make a change. This time's different. We're going to make it happen. We're going to grab those guns. Hey, Michael Polton, how's it going, buddy? Michael Polton Jr., how's it going, buddy? Are we doing dabs with Iceman? Psst, nobody's even doing dabs with Iceman anymore, bro. Nobody's even doing it. What, are you bringing the whole rig tray over, pal? Nobody even brings the whole rig tray over anymore, pal. What are you even doing? You got a bunch of stuff there you don't even need in there. Look at this. This doesn't need to be in here. It's empty. Look, you're dropping it all over everything. You're wrecking it. It's your wrecking ball. What are you doing? Plastic. You don't need no plastic. A little bit of OCD in here. Keeps me happy. A little OCD. There we go. There we go. Little OCD in the house. Perflau. I think we're good. Yeah. Just, just a little OCD kicking in here. That's all. Just a little OCD. This time is different. Yeah. To see that difference, please leave a donation for our campaign, David. Yeah, this time's different, everybody. Come on. This time's different. And what I'm saying is the Democrats don't even have power right now. Because you don't want to get rid of the filibuster. You give the Republicans all the power. They're not going to let you pass anything. They still have the filibuster. So any legislation that you try to pass that the Republicans disagree with, they're going to knock down with the filibuster. Okay, Democrats? You're not going to be able to pass it. Plus, you got Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. I mean, they're basically Republicans that call themselves Democrats. They always vote Republican. And they laugh at you as they do it. And that Manchin enriches his daughter, and her company, and what a freaking mess, man. What a mess. It's working exactly the way they want it to, man. It's like a well-oiled machine to enrich the war machine while, keeping us at each other's throats. Just enough so that we don't bug them while they're tooling around on their yachts at their private islands. You know, and going to fucking events and shit. I digress. Iceman, Iceman, what are you doing? Friday night, buddy. Ooh, I know what I'm doing, Iceman. Look at this. That's big, dude. It's too big. It's too big. It's too big. It's way too big. That's too big. That's better. Yeah, that's better. That was way too big of a dab. I don't need to be doing giant dabs or else I'm just saying I don't need to be doing giant. What is this? Psh. 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 Big dabs. Hey, I got a regular sized dab here. I didn't want to get too crazy. Oh God, that's hot. Man, I have to be more conscious about the direction that I'm heating. This thing right here gets hot. That's too hot to put my mouth on. That's why I shouldn't keep it aimed in the same direction like that. That's okay though. I'm waiting for a minute. So my buddy, he's a IT guy, and he works for a bunch of my friends. He was like, "Yeah, so what's up with that Starlink?" And I was like, "Dude, I had it. It's fucking amazing." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Bro, once I put the got it put in properly and installed on this nice pole and shit, man, I didn't get any drops. It was fucking the fastest internet I've ever had." He's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah." It was unlimited data, unlimited bandwidth, $100 a month. Now he looked it up. Now it's 110. They raised it. So not only did they raise that 110, they also raised the installation. It was 500. Now it's fucking $700. All right, we're good. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Iceman. Yeah, in Germany, you got cheap internet, huh? And you get massive bandwidth. Yeah, it's expensive over here, bro. Jeff, I'm guessing around 400, 500 degrees. Tasty, flavorful, lazy days. So flavorful and tasty, though. 60 euros a month for unlimited bandwidth, 1 gigabyte. That's crazy. That's Europe, bro. You guys got some good hard wire right there, bro. That's some fiber optic. Yeah, was you said about Ukraine? It's true. My friend works for the Ukraine military, so yes, pretty fucked up over there. James McGill, thanks, buddy. I get my information from fairly reliable sources. So you can, you can go check up on what I say, and I'll tell you exactly who I get it from. When that guy pulled his guns out, someone said they're bragging about how many guns they own during our gun safety hearing. Yeah, it's true. He was. He was pulling out all of his guns and shit, showing all his clips, and look at this gun and look at that gun, and throwing that gun down, and fucking, he didn't give a fuck. Looked like a Rambo movie. You were on DSL 8 megs. Nays, news, not always good news, but honest at least. Thank you, Amadeus. Josh, gee, I paid $90 a month for 3 megabyte on a perfect day. I've got 500 megabytes at $95. No cap. Canadian. Interesting. Nick Braun is a fucking idiot, Jimmy Dore. Just so you know, Nick Braun is a fucking idiot. Anybody got a problem with that in the chat? Nick Brana is a fucking idiot. Does anybody have a problem with me saying that in here? Let me know. Let's watch this. So, Naomi Kantz, Nomiki Kantz, I'm so proud of myself for getting that name right. Nomiki, right? Nomiki Kantz. She used to work for Sam Cedar. She's one of the people on that show that appears all the time. And now she's running against a candidate that I believe the Sam Cedar show supports. So let's see what they're going to say about this. I'm kind of curious about this. This is just a short video clip.
Emma's Cashews writes in, "Hey, I'm Majority Crew. I like Naomi and think she'd be a great senator, but are you worried about the chance she splits the left vote with Kristen Gonzalez and Crowley gets elected? Gonzalez already got endorsed by AOC, DSA, and the Working Families Party, so why should I support a candidate when the rest of the institutional left is backing another leftist poggers?" It's a great point. It's a great point.
Wow, it's a great point.
Yesterday, I did not know that.
You know, just her saying it's a great point is pretty devastating to no Mickey. No, Mickey, you're no fine, don't blow no minds, no, Mickey. No, Mickey, no, Mickey, you no fine, don't blow no minds, no, Mickey. No, Mickey. You guys like that shit? Because I'm the only one that's ever done that shit before on the internet. Psh. Huh? I've been killing that shit all day. Dude, I got that one that I just did. That one. I'm killing it all day, bro.
Nomi was running in the district with Kristen Gonzalez and this who's backed by DSA, one of this historically large number of DSA endorsed candidates in the upcoming elections here in New York. I wish I had known that, frankly.
Cheers. Before what?
Nomiki's a friend of the show, and she's gonna, it's her choice to run. But I really don't have an answer for how that, because
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of those messages too. I didn't anticipate that conflict, and perhaps I should have. I haven't looked closely at the candidates yet.
Right.
I didn't know that they exist.
And frankly, I was a little confused because the districts had just been redrawn, so it was hard to keep track for me.
Yeah.
But
look, this is nothing personal to know me. It's that I support the DSA candidates. This is true if DSA put in somebody against my buddy Chris running in Dallas. He didn't run as a DSA candidate. I would have supported DSA over him because of that ideological reason. And I think, I think there's certain folks who say, this is democracy. And win, and I kind of in a vacuum can relate to that and see the best candidate win. But
okay, can any one of you in my audience tell me what the DSA is? Can any single person in this audience tell me what the DSA is? Phone puts out 7130. Text about unlimited hotspot for $60 a month with no caps. Gonna look into that this weekend. I use my cell hotspot, works great. I'm Adidas, never heard of them. Has anybody ever heard of DSA? Yeah, Google that shit. Enlighten me. Teach me. What's the DSA? DSA endorsed Gonzalez for New York. NY59. School of Art, says James McGill. Democratic Socialist Party. It says DSA. What's the A for? Monique, hi. Hello. Democratic Socialists of America. Oh. Well, you just go for the endorsement on Google and it'll come up. Gonzalez for New York being endorsed by the DSA. So that's the conflict of interest. A show that regularly attacks other leftists it accuses of trying to split the left, now has to grapple with one of its co-hosts, Nomiki, running against DSA-endorsed Gonzalez for New York in New York 59, and thus trying to split the left. One of those people should step down and endorse the other candidate. And any time two candidates have the same platform, the one that had those original platform statements first, whoever it was that came up with the concept, the other one should drop out and endorse that person. They're the ones with the original idea. Go with the person who had it first. Like, that's why I was so mad about Bernie Sanders, the whole issue, because Bernie Sanders had all of these different platforms that he was standing on, right? It was obvious what his platform was. And all of these other people came in with his platform that he had been running on for years. And they claimed that you should vote for them and not Bernie Sanders. And I said, every single one of those people is a vile piece of human garbage. Every single one of them that's running against Bernie Sanders is a vile piece of human garbage. And we went through that way back in the day. The show, we covered that and covered it good. I talked about Andrew Yang. We talked about Amy Klobuchar. We talked about the snake. You know, his. What's her name? I can't think of her name. You know, every single one of them motherfuckers. Pete Buttigieg. I had to look it up. I didn't know. Yeah, me neither. The DSA, Democratic Socialists of America. Well, you know, Bernie Sanders is a Democratic Socialist. You know, basically every single American is running under Democratic Socialism right now. So you're all Democratic Socialists, whether you agree to the politics of it or not. You're living under it. You know, do you look at someone who's living in Russia or China and think to yourself, oh, well, that individual's not a communist? Of course you don't. You don't look at people like that. That person's Chinese, they're fucking living under communism, they're a fucking communist to you. Well, guess what? You're a Democratic Socialist. That is the system that is employed right now in this country. I don't care how libertarian or Republican or fucking hard left you lean or whatever the fuck you think you are, Democrat or a fucking goddamn independent. You are living under Democratic Socialism. Oh, well, you just are. I mean, that's just a provable fact. You know? Call yourself whatever you want, but these are the rules that you've agreed to. You know? You know, I'll tell you, you're not a goddamn Democratic Socialist when you tell me the United States Postal Service no longer exists. You know? You know, and probably a dozen other programs I could name right now that are socialist programs that are based, you know, firmly in American democracy. Pramila Jayapal says we must end the filibuster. Yeah. Yeah, Joe Biden doesn't want to end the filibuster. He doesn't want to. Nothing fundamentally will change. Biden hikes Medicare prices and funnels profits to private insurers. The largest ever Medicare premium increase will pad the pockets of insurance executives who donated millions to the president's election. Last week, this is dated June 1st, and today is June 3rd. Last week, the Biden administration quietly reaffirmed its decision to enact the highest Medicare premium hikes in history right before this year's midterm elections. At the same time, President Joe Biden is endorsing a plan to funnel significantly more Medicare money to insurance companies and further privatize the government insurance program for older Americans and those with disabilities. In effect, the higher premium increases will subsidize the larger payments to and profits for private insurance corporations. This comes after Biden raked in roughly $47 million from healthcare industry executives during his 2020 campaign. I was wondering how much money different industries had given politicians for these elections. Well, there's one right there. Healthcare industry executives gave Biden roughly $47 million for his 2020 campaign. So this is called quid pro quo. They helped get him elected. They funded his campaign. Now he's funneling money from taxpayers, from y'all, back to them. The Biden administration announced on May 27th that due to legal and operational hurdles, Medicare recipients won't see their premiums lowered this year, even though that rate was originally hiked last November in large part due to the projected costs of paying for a controversial Alzheimer's drug that Medicare now says it generally will not cover. The administration's announcement comes as Biden officials move forward with a jolting 8.5% hike in payments made to private insurers operating Medicare Advantage plans next year. The juxtaposition between dramatically increasing payments to private insurance plans that provide less care for higher costs on the one hand, and keeping seniors' premiums artificially inflated on the other, underscores the Biden administration's conflicting commitments when it comes to Medicare. On the 2020 campaign trail, Biden pledged as president to continue to defend our nation's commitment to older Americans and people with disabilities through Medicare. But since taking office, Biden has expanded Medicare privatization by launching the involuntary ACO REACH program and through continuing to promote ever-increasing Medicare Advantage enrollment, and he has also raised premiums for Medicare recipients. The result, advocates say, is a situation in which Medicare's sturdiness as an American institution is being steadily chipped away by well-connected corporate interests. Well, they paid for it. Pay to play, man. They paid, and now they're getting the play right back from the government. He should be important since he likes fucking everyone, says Doogie. Fuck Big Pharma Society. The privatization effort is reaching a frantic state, and Medicare Advantage is going to fail, says Bill Kaderi, president of the American Retirees Education Foundation, due to the fact that the plans must pay profits to investors. Unlike traditional Medicare plans, the industry is hoping to cover up that failure with taxpayer subsidies that none of the taxpayers understand. All Medicare recipients pay premiums for outpatient care, which is called Medicare Part B. That money can be funneled into traditional government Medicare plans or into Medicare Advantage plans run by private insurers that are incentivized to limit the amount of care that elders receive. God damn, dude. The standard Part B premium for Medicare patients is now $170 per month, up 14.5% from last year when it was $148.50. Half of the increase in premiums came from a single drug, Aduhelm, which despite its June 2021 approval by the Food and Drug Administration to treat Alzheimer's disease, is not proven to do so. The timeline of Biden's Medicare moves then is this. And it has a timeline, and it's long, guys. I'm not going to read through it. It's really long. But it shows, it follows the money. And I'll show it to you so it's on screen, man. I think it's important that this is going to be on screen. think this is really important, man, that everybody sees this. So it's going to be here for the record. It's going to be on this podcast for the record. Okay, here it is. The timeline of Biden's Medicare moves then is this: June 2021, November 2021, a few days later, January 2022, April 2022, May 27th. The Biden administration's decision to keep Medicare premiums artificially inflated won't just constrain the budgets of cash-strapped seniors. It also appears to be a politically suicidal move in an already fraught election year. Yeah, it's weird, right? How many decisions have you guys seen the Biden administration make since they became in office that were counterintuitive to them getting reelected? Number one, let's just start with this. They went back on a lot of their campaign promises. Can you guys name any of those? We're going to do this one. Well, let's just say one. He did say nothing fundamentally would change. But now Roe v. Wade got overturned. You know, he's let that happen in 20 states or something like that. That's fundamental. I think women's autonomy is a fundamental right for human beings. It's psychotic that it's being forgotten right now, so that everybody can play with guns right now, and that's what's going on. So this all started when Biden had approved that drug in June of 2021. Biden approved the drug that doesn't do anything. And then November 2021, they hiked up the premium for Medicare to 14.5% for all Medicare beneficiaries. So they did that. They said the reason was reflects the need to maintain a contingency reserve for unanticipated increases in healthcare spending, particularly certain drug costs. Unanticipated, so just in case there's some expensive drug, we need a whole bunch of your money. We need you to pay 14.5% now, because we're thinking maybe just in case there's going to be some expensive drugs coming down the pike. They already had a drug in mind. It was one that did nothing. And Biden's FDA approved the drug Aduhelm for treatment of Alzheimer's, despite controversy involving alleged scientific disputes inside the agency over the drug's efficacy and industry pressure on the internal review process. They were really having a problem with this. A few days later, in response to questions from CNN, CMS revealed that the projected cost of Aduhelm was alone responsible for half of the premium increase. The resulting outcry led Aduhelm's manufacturer, here we go guys, Biogen, to halve the drug's price the following month. In January 2022, Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra called on CMS to reassess those premium hikes this year. In April 2022, Health and Human Services Secretary Javier Becerra. In April 2022, Medicare instituted strict rules regarding who could receive the Aduhelm under its plans, but kept the higher premiums in place. Around this same time, CMS announced a massive 8.5% increase in the rates paid to for-profit Medicare Advantage plans. Despite the official body overseeing Medicare payments, the Medicare Payment Advisory Commission, concluding that Medicare Advantage is more costly than traditional Medicare. On May 27th, Biden administration announced that despite the extraordinary premium hikes that stem from inaccurate price assumptions, they would not be lowering the monthly premium deducted from Social Security checks, instead saying any overcharges will be factored into next year's Medicare premium calculations. Dude. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy. That shit that I just read is fucking crazy. Wow. Kafefi. Man, my neck. I don't have good mobility in my neck. It's from when I broke it. I can't like spin my neck around really fast. Plus I get motion sickness. So I'm kind of limited. I kind of want to work on that. I want to work on. And my neck might be sore because I was doing some exercises, it's called Crazy Eights. You just lift the weights, like this, and working on this muscle back here. Trapezius, is that what that's called? Jackson Hinkle just tweeted. Joy tweeted. Oh, Joy's live. Call into her show. Ten minutes ago, Jackson Hinkle tweeted, gas prices in California have now hit $9.60 for a gallon of regular gas. $9.60. Wow. He's standing in front of a sign that says Putin is good. Let's debate. Jackson Hinkle. Putin is good. Putin had a guy murdered by having him irradiated. He drugged a guy with uranium or some shit, and the guy's hair, he poisoned him, and his hair fell out, and he got really, really, really sick, man, and he fucking died. Fucking Putin's really bad for that, just for that, man. He's done some really terrible things. Putin has prosecuted political rivals. He's locked people up in prison. He's allowed the persecution of Jehovah's Witnesses. And he allows LGBTQ people to be brutalized in his country. Do you want to debate any of that? Any of those facts, Jackson, with me right now? What I just said? Because Putin has done a lot of horrible things. It makes it really hard for you to say that Putin is good. Now, that being said, he's not good. That being said, is Putin responding to what he feels are threats that have been placed near his borders by NATO and the United States? Is he responding to people being murdered in Donbass? Yeah, but that doesn't make him a good person. It just, hey, maybe sometimes, so standing up to American imperialism is something that you would like to do, and it's something I would like to do too. We speak out against it all the time. He's actually doing it. And, just because, the enemy of our enemy might be our friend doesn't make him a good person. That's Jackson Hinkle. Yeah, man, that's Jackson. It's Jackson Hinkle, bro. He's been debating people about Putin is good. It might be worth watching some of those videos to hear the arguments. But I think he puts himself in a position with that statement in that, okay, so Putin's done a lot of horrible shit, and that makes him not good, it makes him bad. So just that statement alone is it's a false assumption to even begin a debate on. It's provable that Putin is a bad person. It's factually provable that Vladimir Putin is a horrible person, that he's not good. So you would have to change your debate. The basis for your debate just needs to change. Do you want to say Putin's response to American imperialism is good? Well, I would agree with you. If I was Vladimir Putin, I wouldn't stand by. Bro, I wouldn't have waited. I don't know why he would. Dude, in 2014, why he didn't put an end to that shelling immediately. I don't know. I know there was fighting back and forth. You guys remember hearing that? Russians and Ukrainians were shooting back and forth, but I didn't know what was really going on militarily with the Donbass region. I didn't know. But if I was Vladimir Putin, I wouldn't stand for my citizens being murdered at all. So you want to say he made a decision that was good? Hey, Putin made a good decision, one that you do agree with. Yeah, well, I agree with you. There's not. I wouldn't even debate that. I'm just saying the premise of your debate is provably wrong. It's not debatable. It's not even up for debate. I don't even know anything about Vladimir Putin. I guarantee you I'd win that debate in 3 seconds by everything I just said. And everything I just said is true. He's a fucking cold-blooded murderer. He doesn't give a fuck about the lives of other human beings, bro. He's so cold. He's not good. You want to adjust the definition of the word good to have this debate. You don't get to do that. We all agree what the word good means. Superman is good. Harley is good. This face light, that's good. My coffee, it's good. Creek bong. Bong I found in a creek. Good. It's good. The cannabis I smoke in it. Good. It's not even debatable. You guys know. When I'm sitting here smoking, I tell you if it hurts my throat, if I don't like the way it tastes, not getting me high, blah, 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 whatever. It's good. Everything's good. This mouse, not good. I need to replace it. I need to buy kitty litter, and I think I'll buy a mouse too. I need to buy kitty litter and a mouse. I need to remember that shit. Kitty litter and a mouse. Just remember cats. Mouse, right? So now that Mark lives in my house, I get an email every time he turns on or off the alarm. I get a text on my phone too. Tina Holler liked my video. Thank you, Tina. Thank you. Friday Smokey time fun show. Dude, why am I just now getting an alert? Isn't that crazy town? What's up with that? Dude, do we get to see Jackson Hinkle debate on? Let's hear him debate on Putin. Putin is good. Let's hear what his. Where's the videos at? I bet you there's videos. Putin is good. Changed my mind. Oh, I wonder if no. This is a Jackson Hinkle tweet, right? I'm on Jackson's. Yeah. Jackson being edgy again. Yeah, he puts himself out there. Okay, there's no links. So I just wonder if we go to YouTube and we look for on Jackson Hinkle's channel, I wonder if he's got any uploads of these debates, man. He's live right now on Jimmy Dore's show. I'm not interested in that. Okay. The Dive. The Dive. Why doesn't it come up The Dive with Jackson Hinkle? Idiots. Uploads. He's uploading videos as we speak.
Somebody's tripping now.
Wow. So Jackson covered a Tucker Carlson video that I saw. Tucker Carlson exposes Uvalde lies. I saw that. Uvalde, whatever. Sorry. So I didn't see any videos. I wonder. God damn it. Those are all the same fucking video, whatever the fuck. I wonder if he put him up on his Twitch channel, but I just hate Twitch so much, you know. I freaking hate it. A cold, cold man. Nay, you're right, a cold, cold man. He's cold, dude. Yeah, dude. I'm anyone who thinks that I cheer on Vladimir Putin or anything, you're wrong. I know what he is, but understand this: anybody that stands up to American imperialism has my attention, because I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of American imperialism, and Vladimir Putin. You know, he could be imperialistic too. You want to look around and see how many fucking countries Russia has conquered, how many bases Russia has installed in them, where they've got missiles set up, and where they've installed governments, and where they've couped governments. You know, they were in Afghanistan. They've been all over the place too, and you can call them both equally responsible. That's fine, but I as an American, I find it offensive that my country participates in it. You know? It's my money is going over there. They take thousands of dollars from me, man. It fucking drives me crazy when I know that money goes to go send weapons for a war that they started. With my money then too. This has just been a joke. Uvalde lies. I kind of want to see Jackson Hinkle watch Tucker Carlson. Because I already saw this.
He initially denied that the on-scene police commander ordered cops to stand down and remain outside as children were being shot to death inside the school. On Thursday, a spokesman for Texas DPS called that account a rumor, quote, but there was videotape to show that it was true, it actually happened. So the next day, forced by the videotape, Texas DPS admitted the rumors were true. Watch.
Obviously, based upon the information we have, there were children in that classroom that were at risk, and it was, in fact, still an active shooter situation and not a barricaded subject.
No apology. No,
right?
Real admittance of wrongdoing. It's just like, oh, we're aware of that.
Right? No shit. Good observation.
There's a
Kiddo.
lot of questions that I have surrounding the mass shooting at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, okay? I've discussed this in great detail, mostly on the Jimmy Dore Show. Jimmy's done a bunch of segments on this, and
He's on there right now.
Doubling down on it and redoing the segments on my show here, so I haven't. I talked a little bit actually about it yesterday. We did a segment on some of it yesterday. I had a little bit of a different take I wanted to go into. But today, I want to show you this. It seems to me as though the Uvalde Sheriff's Department did about every single thing imaginable
wrong
that would cause one to have suspicion with regard to the response to the shooting in Uvalde. In addition to that, the cover-up of the mishandling of the shooting and the response to the shooting has also sparked a lot of curiosity in my books as well. So I want to show you this. This is a new segment from Tucker Carlson tonight, in which he begins to ask some of these questions. Some of the questions I wasn't even aware of. And I've now seen posed, and they were things that I thought we actually had answers for. Now it turns out that the sheriffs were again lying. This is really incredible stuff. And again, I think it's just so important considering the fact we just covered in our last segment a story about how Joe Biden's arms that he has sent to Ukraine, U.S. munitions, M777 howitzers, as well as 150 millimeter artillery are being used to blow up 5-year-old girls, little kids in schools in the Donetsk People's Republic, right? So we're sending these weapons to Ukraine. They're blowing up children in these schools, elementary schools. That Joe Biden is now trying to take away your guns, not even just the guns that were responsible, AR-15. He's also trying to take away other guns. 9 millimeters are in the discussion because of a school shooting here. It just really doesn't sit well for me. It feels more like a power grab than any sort of legitimate concern for ending these atrocities we're seeing plague the nation, which I really do not feel are a result of, in its entirety, a gun issue. I think there's many issues that combine that cause these things to happen. Guns are definitely a part of them. I mean, you see these shootings. The primary weapon used in all of these shootings are AR-15s. But I mean, there's a lot of stabbings every year in the United States, many more per capita than we see in other, developed nations. We see that suicide is a huge issue in the United States, very sadly, and that's a huge issue. We see that, we have so many things that are unique to America. I mean, you look at heart disease in America, you look at obesity, these things, obviously not acts of violence, but, we have a lot of really big issues in this country that we seek to either ignore or just shift the blame up. And that's why they continue, because we don't actually want to address the real issues. Now, as Karl Marx said, I think that we should frustrate any attempt to disarm the workers, especially when we literally have like paramilitary units walking the streets that are not responding to actual active school shooter situations, but are instead utilizing their weapons to kill average citizens, right? And enforce the stripping away of our privacy rights and forcing us into lockdowns.
Mom, do I need to feed Harley?
I don't know.
Is he being kind of fussy?
No, he's just up here on the couch with me.
Okay.
I think we should oppose this. I think we should protect the Second Amendment. But this is now a very big discussion. People are treating this like a black and white issue. It's not. Tucker Carlson's going to explain that right now. We're going to go through it and break it down.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. It was a week ago today that a deranged teenager called Salvador Ramos murdered 19 children and 2 teachers in an elementary school in Texas. You know this because we've had 7 days of full saturation coverage, and it's all deserved. Given that, it's amazing
I remember
that we
all
still
this.
don't know about what happened that day.
I think I watched
Let's
this
start
twice.
This is the most obvious with how the shooter could possibly have afforded the
Australia
firearm.
Gaming 3945596. What's up, buddy?
Part-time at the drive-thru at a local Wendy's. Yet police say he had at least $4,000 of brand new weapons, including 2 AR-15 rifles, 1,600 rounds of 5.56 ammunition, a ballistic vest, and 60 magazines. One of Ramos's rifles was a high-end model manufactured by a company called Daniel Defense. According to a receipt that Ramos posted in a private message, that gun cost $2,000, and he paid in full. Now, Ramos could have bought effectively the very same rifle at any gun store for a third of the cost. But apparently, to Ramos, price was no object. That's pretty weird. If police know where Ramos got the money to buy one of the most expensive AR-15s on the
Maybe
market,
he just
they're
didn't know
not
how to
telling
shop
us.
around.
That's one of the biggest things I've seen asked around. It's like, you look at, I mean, yeah, you look at.
Okay, number one, he's a fucking psycho. He went and killed a bunch of people. Number two, someone like that probably doesn't think to go shop around and save some money. They're about to go kill a bunch of people. They don't care how much money they're spending. What do you have to say, Jackson? Let's hear it.
This kid, where's he getting the money for this?
I knew it.
Nor
The
for that matter have they
conspiracy.
explained why they lied.
Takes the
about most
conspiracy
basic facts
route.
of the shooting. For the first 24 hours, they told us that
Where'd the money
a
come
resource officer fired at
money
the gun
came
to
from?
quote, engage
Some
Ramos.
sort of
But they must
source.
have known.
It's some sort of a black flag operation. It came from some sort of a black flag operation. A red flag. There's a red flag on my morning that morning, and I had some coffee.
At the time they said it, that that was not true. They must know the resource officer was not even at the school when Ramos arrived. But they told us otherwise. Why'd they do that?
Coffee's gone.
And by the way, how long was
sad.
Ramos outside the school firing his gun at people at a nearby funeral home before he went inside
This
and
hurts
killed
my
children?
neck.
That seems like a fairly simple question, certainly an
I
important
should probably
question.
stop doing it.
Last week, authorities told us that Ramos was outside the school for 10 to 12 minutes. Here's the claim.
We got a crash and a man with a gun. And then you have responding officers. That's what it is. If it's 12 minutes, from 11:30
Gold Alchemist.
to 11:40,
What's up, brother?
that's the information we have.
Just a splish. I just finished it.
12 minutes from 11:30 to 11:40. That's the information we have. Quote, but that information is clearly wrong because 11:30 to 11:40 is not 10 minutes. The timeline matters.
I think he meant to say 12 minutes.
Right.
So what's the
It's
real
funny. I
timeline?
noticed that too. I was like, that
Well,
was
on
weird.
Friday, the director of Texas DPS came up with a brand new timeline. Here it is.
11:28. The suspect vehicle crashes into the ditch, as previously described. The teacher runs to the room 132 to retrieve a phone, and that same teacher walks back to the exit door, and door remains propped open. 11:33, the suspect begins shooting into room.
So pause. They're blaming the teacher.
He
They're
said-
you had 14 cops that were sitting out.
He said so pause. And paused it. Like almost like he was telling somebody to pause it, like Sam Cedar does. Pause.
Inside this room with one shooter for almost an hour.
Pause
and
it.
they're finding a way to blame a teacher. A teacher was trying to stop this situation. And as Tucker goes on to point, even the story about the teacher leaving the door open doesn't really add up. But they're trying to blame the fucking teacher when they had all these armed cops that were tasing parents who were trying to go in and save their children. They had 14 police officers lined up outside the door. It took an off-duty Border Patrol agent to storm in there with like a dad flannel shirt on, and he got nicked in the head by a bullet and he took down the shooter. It's incredible that they are trying to blame this on a fucking teacher.
Room 111 or 112. It's not possible to determine.
The kid aimed
from
high.
the
He was
video
trying to shoot the dude in the
angles that we
head.
have at this
He was
point
trying to
in
go for a
time.
headshot. and
So
missed.
actually, and that was the
Nicked
director
him
of
in the
public
head.
safety in Texas, it was only 5 minutes that Ramos was outside shooting at people. Okay.
Wow.
But here's the key takeaway from that statement. Here's what they want you to believe. The back door to the school was open because a teacher at the school left it open after going outside to retrieve a phone. So it's the teacher's fault that Ramos was able to get inside. That's what they said on Friday. But this too appears to be untrue. The Houston Chronicle is reporting tonight that surveillance footage of the school shows that the teacher slammed the door after running back inside. And of course that would make sense, since by this point Ramos was firing his rifle, and that same teacher was using the phone in question to make a panicked call to 911.
Why would a teacher who's making a call to 911 leave the door open? That's what the cops said. They said that the teacher left the door open,
Right.
like wedged open. That's what they said. So they lied again. Also, again, my question is like, the school shooter he crashed his car into a ditch nearby the school, shot people at a funeral home, and it took him like 12 minutes to get to the school. What were the cops doing in those 12 minutes? Because the people at the funeral home who got shot at by the shooter after he crashed his car, they were making calls to the police officers and saying, hey, there's a guy who just shot at us and he's headed to the school and he's got a big gun. What were the cops doing? It's a small town. What were they doing?
No one disputes that. So why did the authorities tell us otherwise? And for that matter, why did they initially deny that the on-scene police commander ordered cops to stand down and remain outside as children were being shot to death inside the school? On Thursday, a spokesman for Texas DPS called that account a rumor, quote. But there was videotape to show that it was true. It actually happened. So the next day, forced by the videotape, Texas DPS admitted the rumors were true. Watch.
What efforts were the officers making to try and break through either that door or another door, get inside that classroom?
None at that time.
Why?
See, the on-scene commander at the time believed that it had transitioned from an active shooter to a barricaded subject.
Meaning the commander thought that the shooter had killed all of the students in that room. That wasn't true, and it only took a Border Patrol officer who ran to the door and yelled out, if you need help, yell help, and a little girl yelled help for him to learn that on the moment he arrived, and then he ran in and he liquidated the shooter. But unfortunately, before that happened, the little girl who yelled help, she, according to a boy in the classroom, was also shot by the shooter before he was able to run in and stop the shooter. It's a sick story. So the reporter asked, sir, you have people who are alive, children who are calling 911 saying, please send the police. So basically here saying that throughout the time that the officers had determined that it was no longer an active shooter situation, and in fact it was a barricaded suspect situation, there were still kids who were calling the police, and there's documentation of this, there's phone recordings of this, there's timestamps of all of this. So throughout this time that they were saying, no, it's not an active shooter situation anymore, there were still kids in the classroom identifying which classroom they were in, the one that the police were standing outside of with the shooter in it, that were saying that they're still alive. So you have kids calling on their phone saying, we're still alive, and the police are going out and telling the parents that it's no longer an active shooter situation because all the kids have been killed.
You guys, I'm sorry, you guys aren't as interested in this as I am. I love you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If more people stayed to watch, I'd definitely keep doing this because I like this. I think Jackson's great. But I'll see you guys later. All right, you guys take care. And I love you, and I'll see you tomorrow morning. Okay? All right, bye now. Yeah, but I'm out of coffee, man. Oh, you were into it? Man, people are leaving, bro. You're into it? Okay, if you're into it, I'll let you watch some more. It's long.
In that classroom, there are lives that are at risk.
Oh, look, I'm Adidas. Keep it open. Josh G, keep it open. Look at that.
Obviously, based upon the information we have, there were children in that classroom that were at risk, and it was, in fact, still an active shooter situation and not a barricaded subject.
No apology no, real admittance of wrongdoing. It's just like, well, we're aware
Make
of
more
that.
kafafi. I'm Adidas.
No wonder China is formally encouraging the United Nations today to begin investigations into U.S. mass shootings.
But that's not really an explanation, of course, because no one disputes that everyone on the scene, including police, knew that Ramos
Rogie
had
chased some
weapons,
deer in
was
the yard
firing
today.
at
He's a
people
bad
to
little
kill
pet,
people,
right?
and was inside the school with children.
Children.
No one disputes that. So why did heavily armed police units decide not to stop Salvador Ramos from executing children? Now, it's not finger pointing to ask that question. These are very complicated circumstances. People are under immense pressure. People make mistakes. But we're making long-term policy decisions based on the specifics of what happened last week in Uvalde. Politicians across this country are calling for militarizing America's elementary schools. And yet they can't answer why the military force effectively outside this elementary school refused to stop the killing. So this massacre could have been prevented at some point. It was not prevented. Why was that? We should know the answer, but don't hold your breath. No one in power seems anxious to hold themselves accountable for what happened in Uvalde. And amazingly, and this is so perverse it's hard to believe it's true, but it is, some seem determined to make future school shootings more likely. In California, the state assembly just voted to end the requirement, the long-standing requirement that was put in place after a school shooting, that schools alert law enforcement when students, quote, attack, assault, or physically threaten school officials. That's no longer in place. And according to the Democratic Party, that's a win for equity. We know this because the sponsor of the bill, a California state senator called Stephen Bradford, said so. Here's what he told the Daily Caller, quote, Black students, Latinx students, students of color, and students with disabilities are disproportionately referred to law enforcement, cited, and arrested, end quote.
So this just doesn't add up for me. Because you have students of minority backgrounds who are disproportionately referred to law enforcement.
They're not minorities.
This guy,
anymore.
and apparently the California state legislature believes that refusing to report assaults against school officials by students to police officers, like that should cease to be a thing. Like, how's that a thing? How's that a solution? That at the end of the day, there's still going to be like there's how does that address the issue? Like, that doesn't address any sort of like discrimination or like disproportionate targeting. That just means that now, like, when you have a crazy student that is attacking a fucking school official, teacher, a resource officer, campus supervisor, whatever, an administrator, that they're not going to report it to the police. That literally does nothing in addressing any sort of, and the disproportionate thing is true. School resource officers do dramatically disproportionately target and arrest and detain black kids, right? But saying that we're not going to report violent assaults on school officials doesn't do anything in addressing that issue. It's crazy.
So too many Latinx students in wheelchairs apparently are being blamed for school shootings, so there's no more violence reporting in California schools at all. So how does that help prevent the next school shooting? Well, of course it doesn't. But it's starting to seem like helping prevent school shootings is not really the point of this exercise. Amassing more power is the point. And we know this from what's happening north of us. Canada's Botox dictator, Justin Trudeau, wasted no time in using the tragedy in the US to his own political advantage in Canada. Now, Uvalde is more than 2,000 miles from Ottawa. But because of what Salvador Ramos was allowed to do in Texas, Canadians are no longer allowed to protect themselves. Justin Trudeau has introduced a bill that would ban Canadian citizens from buying, selling, and transferring handguns within their own country. Again, handguns were not the cause of the shooting in Uvalde. Uvalde is nowhere near Canada, and yet Justin Trudeau is using that tragedy to disarm anyone who disagrees with him. By the way, that law would empower courts to confiscate guns from people even if they've not committed a crime. Watch Justin Trudeau announce this paragraph, and as you do watch, pay special attention to the masked toadies behind him nodding in unison.
we're introducing legislation to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership. What this means is that it will no
On handgun ownership? It wasn't a handgun that was responsible for this.
I know, right?
So what
and
are we now?
And it
gonna
wasn't
say
in
that,
Canada.
We're gonna ban.
They're idiots.
knives and
He's
we're
an
gonna ban,
idiot.
We're gonna ban any sharp objects. You can't have forks in your house because technically those could be used for violent assaults
You
as
call
well.
him a Botox.
It's insane.
Botox
no
dictator.
longer be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada. In other words, we're capping the market for handguns.
What's actually happening here is that people like Justin Trudeau know that their rule is illegitimate. They know perfectly well how resented they are, and they spend an awful lot of time thinking about civil unrest. You probably don't. You live in a democracy, so you don't imagine that anyone needs to be disarmed for political reasons. But people like Justin Trudeau can feel the deep resentment aimed at them, and they are fully intent on disarming the population. Now, we reached out to Justin Trudeau's office today about this new law. We wanted to know if
No
Trudeau will
response.
apply these laws to himself. That's always the first and most important test of sincerity. If it's good for me, it ought to be good for you too, and vice versa. So, in this case, will Justin Trudeau's state-funded bodyguards be relinquishing their handguns? And how about their banned AR-15s? But of course, we're not allowed to know the answers to that question because he's in power and we're not. Quote, "We do not comment on matters related to the Prime Minister's security," his office responded. Meaning, of course not.
So Justin Trudeau gets to keep his paramilitary force. He gets to keep his like dumbass the guys who are on the horses and shit. The mounted patrol, whatever they call those dumbasses, and they're gonna keep terrorizing and planting evidence on workers' movements like the Canadian truckers' movement, like things like that spark up in Canada. They're gonna keep doing that, but no Canadians are gonna be allowed to have guns, right? You can't buy new handguns, whatever, in Canada.
Justin Trudeau isn't that stupid. He's going to continue to protect his own family. You're just not going to be allowed to protect yours in Canada. Now, here in the United States, as always, Democrats are watching very carefully what Trudeau is up to as they plan our future here. And already the rhetoric of the Democratic Party has changed. For years, Democrats, Joe Biden, his supporters in the media have talked about banning AR-15s, the so-called weapons of war, which are not in fact used by any military. But
This is
weapons
funny.
of war
Weapons
have
of war,
been
weapons of war,
focused.
weapons of war, weapons of
Watch.
war. Watch.
The venom of the haters and their weapons of war.
Assault-style weapons that are weapons of war.
And purchase these weapons of war.
To get these weapons of war.
Finally ridding our streets of weapons of war.
What we should be doing is taking these weapons of war out of the hands of civilians.
Because they see what these weapons of war do on the street.
An assault weapon is a weapon of war with no place in a civil society.
But then again, of course, M777 howitzers do have a place in the hands of Ukrainian Nazis who will use those to blow up 5-year-old girls at elementary schools in Makivka, in Donetsk, in Lugansk, in Klamovo. Of course. But AR-15s, they have no place in our society.
They wouldn't know what end the bullet comes out of. They know nothing about this topic. They don't even know the basic crime stats. In the United States, rifles kill fewer people every year than fists or knives do. There's no effort afoot to ban knives or fists. But weapons of war have long been their focus, meaning AR-15s, the single most popular self-defense rifle in the United States. Self-defense is the point. On Sunday, Congressman Adam Kinzinger has decided, and says it out loud, that in order for him to feel safe, we're going to need to confiscate your rifle because he feels unsafe. Watch.
Congressman, you do still oppose a ban on the kind of assault weapons that were used in the shooting. Can you explain why private citizens need weapons of war?
Weapons of war.
Look, I have opposed a ban, fairly recently. I think I'm open to a ban now.
Can you explain, Congressman, why private citizens need weapons of war? Now, CNN anchors need to be surrounded by bodyguards with weapons of war because they're important. But you and your family, No, you don't need weapons of war. So for years, it's been about the AR-15, but things are changing. Joe Biden is now calling for a ban on the ubiquitous 9mm round. Watch this.
A 9mm. He's calling for a ban on a 9mm.
An idiot.
Why?
A 9mm bullet blows the lung out of the body.
Oh, thank you for enlightening all of us, Joe Biden. A 9mm blows a lung out of the body. If you hit a rib cage, it may just break your ribs. Brilliant analysis from Joe Biden as to why we now need to get rid of 9mm. You know, I hear if you stick your finger in a electrical outlet, it could actually kill you. Maybe we should ban those too.
I read all your chat.
The idea of these high-caliber weapons there's simply no rational basis for it in terms of about self-protection, hunting. I mean, I guess, and remember, the Constitution, the Second Amendment, was never absolute. You couldn't buy a cannon when the Second Amendment was passed.
Fuck the Second Amendment.
So there's a guy.
True. Never absolute. Never absolute. You know what? Great white sharks have actually been responsible for several deaths in recent years, too. Have we thought about bombing all the great white sharks in our oceans? Maybe. Maybe that's next on his agenda.
That's silly. He can't even recognize his own wife of 40 years in public, lecturing us about what the
5 minutes
rational
left.
basis is for this or that. Quote, there's simply no rational basis for the 9mm round in terms of self-protection. Well, of course, the opposite is true. The 9mm is the main self-protection round in the United States, along with the 5.56, the round used in the AR-15. Both of them are small rounds. People use them to protect their families. And if you take them away, Americans will no longer be able to defend themselves in the middle of a crime wave that was wholly manufactured by the same people who are trying to strip your guns from you. And that's, of course, the point. This is a power grab. And you can be certain that it is a power grab and not an effort to make this a safer country, because the people who are calling for it are exempting themselves from its requirements. Once again, that is the acid test. If you're for a law, will it apply to you? Do Michael Bloomberg's bodyguards carry the dreaded 9mm or .223 rounds so they have high-capacity magazines? Do Nancy Pelosi's bodyguards, which you pay for, do Mitch McConnell's bodyguards carry those rounds? Well, we wanted to know. Why wouldn't we want to know? Why don't we have a right to know? So we emailed all three of their offices today. And unlike, we have to say, Justin Trudeau's office, none of them even bothered to reply to us. So obviously they won't be disarming their own bodyguards. They'll keep their own weapons of war. In the meantime, they'll continue to pass legislation against weapons they know nothing about. They've been doing this for decades. We did a documentary on this, actually. And we spoke to...
This is pretty good.
Probably the person who knows more about self-defense weapons than any living American.
Listen to what this guy says.
45, one of the most popular
about
figures on YouTube.
The accessory on the end of this gun.
The use of firearms for self-defense.
He's like, this thing is just, it's a handle.
And of course, it has the famous Tucker Carlson barrel shroud on it.
Barrel shroud. Hickok 45 is referring to Congresswoman Carolyn McCarthy of New York, who famously didn't understand the firearm she was trying to ban. Do you know what a barrel shroud is?
I actually don't know what a barrel shroud is.
Because it's in your legislation.
It's a shoulder thing that goes up.
No, it's not. So a barrel shroud makes the rifle more deadly, right?
Yeah, really, shroud that barrel. You know, a lot of what people come up with that do not know firearms, they just do not like them, they hate them, and you know, so they're looking for reasons to hate them. They don't know anything about the cartridges. A bullet is dangerous. Let's face it. A hammer, a chainsaw, a ladder, a car, they're potentially dangerous.
It's really good, wasn't it?
So, folks, I mean, let's be honest here. While we're at the 9mm ban, vending machines kill 13 people a year. Yes, vending machines fall on people. They kill 13 people a year. I say we ban vending machines. Selfies, 12 people succumb to the fatal attraction of selfies each year.
You're being silly, Jackson.
Ban selfies, why not? Falling out of bed, a staggering 450 people die annually by falling out of bed, usually from a head and neck injuries. beds gotta go.
Dude, we're
I
talking
know that
about
for a
people's
fact.
kids
Beds
getting
must go.
slaughtered in mass murders.
Volcanoes,
Jackson.
they kill 762 people a year. I say we just nuke
Dude, I'm
them.
going to cut you off, Jackson. All right? I'm going to cut you off. Let's just cut you off and say no. No. Silly. But Tucker Carlson did make some excellent points. You guys are right. Anyway, you guys enjoy your evenings, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys. Thanks for sticking around. All right? Bye. I gave you an extra half hour, man.